Hello everyone, I'm Andy. Guess what? You can probably already tell because the video quality isn't horrible. I got a new camera for my birthday! It's a Canon Vixia HFR72. I don't actually know enough to really know what that means, but it looks really great, and so it seems like a really amazing camera, and I'm really excited to actually make videos that look good. So today I want to talk to you about gender roles. They don't really make any sense. We sort of apparently decided that these traits were masculine and these traits were feminine, and if you're female, you're not really allowed to use these traits, and if you're male, you're not really allowed to use these traits, even though we're all just people. It's kind of funny, the traits we picked specifically, because a lot of them have changed over the years. Like, heels were originally invented for men. I've heard a couple of different stories about where they were invented for, but my favorite is for butchers so that they didn't step in the blood on the ground. It's hard to escape, however much we might want to, the fact that men and women are built differently, but not differently enough to justify the incredible divide that's been just made by our society. It's like women aren't allowed to be strong, and men aren't allowed to be weak. Women have fought against their stereotypes a lot because they're really pretty negative stereotypes. Our stereotype basically says that women are less than men. And even though we have fought a lot, we're allowed to be strong now, we're just not allowed to be stronger than men, which makes no sense whatsoever. I did somewhere between 4 and 6 years of karate. I could count it, but I'm too lazy. And I enjoyed it a lot, and I love fighting. But at work, people still think that because I'm small and appear female and relatively young, that I need to be protected, and that the males that I work with can just go off on their own, and I'm sure they can protect themselves. And I'm like, I can protect myself better than anyone I work with, other than maybe the security guards, but that's iffy. Just because women fight against their stereotypes more doesn't mean that they're any less damaging to men. Men are basically not allowed to have emotions, other than anger. That's the only emotion that men are allowed to have in our society, which is ridiculous. Also, men are a lot more forbidden from having female traits, like emotion or wearing a dress. Basically, boys grow up believing that it is bad to have any female traits. And what are defined as female traits is just like compassion, emotion, healthy interaction. So no wonder boys tend to grow up to be more violent, because that's all they're really allowed to do. Now, that's not to say that girls don't grow up to be violent, even though people like to pretend that girls are sweet and innocent. Not really. Have you ever seen two girls fight? No holds barred. When two boys are fighting, there are like rules. Like, I don't kick you in the balls, you won't kick me in the balls. But with girls, it's like all out. Probably because it's a vent for the anger that they're not really allowed to have. Also, women like are required to be maternal, and men like aren't allowed to be. It's supposed to be like this goal of a woman to get married and have kids and be like a good mother or something. That sounds like a nightmare to me. And men are supposed to just like want to sleep around. Like, that's what's expected by our society. No wonder boys are known for like sleeping around, because that's what's expected. And then girls like aren't really supposed to have sex until marriage, because then they're like a whore or something. But like, how are the boys going to have sex without the girls having sex unless they're gay, which is also forbidden by our society? It's just like trap after trap after trap. Clothing is one of the places that you can most see the ridiculous gender stereotypes. It's like every single store has a girls section and a boys section. Why don't we just have a clothing section? You can choose what clothes you want to wear. So here I have made some examples of challenging the gender stereotypes that, like, seem good to me. Made you uncomfortable, that's really a sign of what our society is like, because there's nothing inherently wrong with any of those. I mean, other than that I drew a really bad beard. So what I want you all to do is just try and think outside of our gender stereotypes. I know it's hard to challenge a stereotype that you've grown up with. I know I have trouble with that a lot. But if a boy's crying, don't look down on them. Obviously, they're upset. We don't need to keep dividing these genders so obviously. We're all just people. So try to be a little more open-minded, and if you maybe try challenging some of those stereotypes yourself. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please let me know by giving it a like or a comment. If you know someone else who might enjoy it, please hit the share button so that we can spread this video around and maybe start challenging those stereotypes a little more. If you want to see more videos like this one, then click the subscribe button, which I will put right there. And if you missed my last video, then you can check that out right here. And I think that's all for today. Bye! Men are, like, more forbidden from touching into female. Oh god, that sounded bad.